In the video, we will see the second orb appear there as well. One second one popped up, so I'm just going to enlarge it. So just be patient with the controls. I'll have to use a zoom toggle. There we go. So we see two there. Now I can't use a mouse to highlight them. You see two on the right. There's a prominent one and the one that just appeared in the jet trail, and obviously the space shuttle is on the left. So my view is either they realize it's about to explode and they come to observe it. Now we do see some spiral heat rays or whatever come off the space shuttle, so we have to just try to go in reverse and see if there's any smoke before this. So let's just go back to this step here. The original video is this one. Okay, so it's Shuttle Columbia disaster. It's had about 308 views. So let's enlarge it again. And we have to observe when they fly in. So that's the first one coming in. Obviously you see him there. We don't see any... We see heat obviously from the shuttle. I'm not sure if we see anything important. There's a little bit of a jet trail there, so it could be just the heat of re-entry. There's a second one. It just, yeah, if you quickly blinked, you'd miss it right there. So let's go back. There it is there, it comes in. There's the other one. Okay, and then it quickly disappears. So let's just have another zoom in and see what I'm talking about. There it is there. On the right, at where the main one is, to the top right at about 45 degrees, you see the second one. So I'll just press escape. We'll just keep playing it. And they are both disappeared. Then that one comes back. There's no major problem yet with Space Shuttle. Then it disappears. And I just want to zoom in on the heat ray. So it's appeared for quite a few seconds now before I see the heat rays coming off it right there. This is spectacular. So I'm going to just zoom in on it again using the special toggle. And look at those heat rays. Something is happening there. There seems to be a burst of energy. So it's very strange they've appeared before this happens. Have they caused it? These are alien devices. Have they obviously fired any rays? As crazy as it sounds, but obviously that's what we're seeing in real life. So that's the object right there. Let's now escape and see what happens. Again, it appears again, but I don't want to miss out on the chance to just enlarge this. So if we go in, we see obviously something important is happening. There's a few heat rays or whatever coming off this. It's a very important clip. But just before this happened, it switched on again. You'll see it come on very... There it is again. So it switched on. It went off again. There it is again. So I froze it, it switched off, and all of a sudden we see a red trail behind us. Obviously there's a heat element now. Something is happening very important. There's a white trail behind it. Let's use the zoom toggle. And there's red. You see that tint of red. Redness means obviously we have a major heat episode. There's red coming off it now. So let's press escape, go back again, and watch as it progresses. So obviously the next stage, we've got more rays coming off it. Use the heat toggle there, the zoom toggle. Obviously there's a firmer trail coming off it. Something is obviously burning very intensely. We've got pink and red, and we've got the very big rays, like some sort of explosion is happening. And the strange thing is these orbs appeared homing in or zooming in on it 4 or 5 seconds before this. So they zoomed in about 14 seconds. What have we got here? 16. Okay, it's happening very quickly. Okay, there it is again. Now we'll have a closer look. So in this video, it's different at part one. Part one, we just looked at it quickly. Now we're looking at it step by step. It's very bright and very white. So again, there's some sort of combustion happening here. Very prominent combustion. Let's go again. The orb is still behind it. It's not being released by it. If it was released, we would see it coming off it. But it's actually coming from the right and zooming in towards it before this explosion or combustion. So let's use the zoom button again and have a look at it now. There it is there, right in the center of the screen. You can't miss it. And these are the objects that I've been having coming around a lot over the house, even when I was analyzing the first video, when one appeared 10 seconds before the explosion of the Challenger. And that's been edited in all 3 videos. That one crucial second has been removed from all. And also the Mars panorama that I analysed has been totally censored by NASA. You can't actually use a zoom anymore after I published my book. So let's go out again. So there was 2 theories. 1, the aliens have censored it. 2, the problem with that one is, if the aliens censored it, why didn't they censor the Mars panorama on the private server, a gigapan, if they're that efficient? So it's probably done by NASA. Here we go. It's now switched off a bit, and we got something very special now. Wow, I just saw it now with my eyes. Okay, let's zoom in. Look at the pattern. We've got two black definite horizontal lines there at the front. I haven't ever seen that before. Look at that. That is spectacular. Look, look. And obviously that's just switched off in the center, so it's just losing energy again. So obviously we've got one other event now. Let's go back. That's excellent. It's very clear. Okay, now we've got a major explosive event. Let's go in again. Major combustion. Look at that. That thing is totally wiped out now, and it got still a trail of smoke, and it's very, very important. Look at that. Go one step further. Still bright white. There it is again. It's just switched off again. And it's the same as the orbs that I'm getting over the house. They switch on and off. There it is again. It's just appeared again during that time. So let's again zoom in. And obviously there's something important right in the center. You see those 2 black marks still in the center, and there's the orb again. So it's keeping very close to it. So as it moves, it also moves with it. And as it was seen approaching it, it was first approaching it for this sudden explosion. Now it disappears. The trail is still there. Obviously this thing, and it appears again right there. There it is. We won't have to zoom in on it. But it's very bright white now. So we have a major explosive event. We've got CTL1. There it is. Okay. Look at that. That is very, very white, bright white, and you got the pink purple behind it. So obviously there's major combustion explosion. Let's go further. It's still bright white. Now we've got something else released. That's probably just an error of the camera. Okay, this is an important image right there. Let's zoom in on it. Something's happening there. It's not average. Okay, we just went back. I'll just pause it. I assume it could be a camera aberration, but let's just have a look. Why we've got all these lines appearing? Is it just the camera's not focusing in that well? Not sure about that. Let's go out. So that was a spot that I commented. I'm not sure what's happening there. Could it be camera? Okay. Now we've got that strange image that I saw a few seconds ago. It actually changed shape to an extent that I haven't seen before. Okay, here we've got something happening as well. Again, we've got those 2 black grooves in it. They're not black now, they're clear. Something is happening very strange there. Or it could be just because we're focusing in, the camera produces that as an artificial aberration. Okay, let's go. It's very bright. Let's zoom in again. Okay, something definitely bright white is happening there. Let's zoom out. So now we'll go a step further. We don't see the orb anymore, and obviously by now it's okay, we did see it. It just switched on and off again. There it is. There it is. Let's zoom in again. And again, I have to repeat, it's very similar to these I'm getting around the house. They switch on and off, or you got one main one, and then a second one switches on automatically next to it. And I had them at night time as well. You can see it on YouTube. So obviously, if this is alien, which obviously we agree, it's not ours, unless our enemies have produced it. Our enemies meaning the enemies of whoever launched the space shuttle. I don't want to go further, but now I've got something else. One part of it looks like it's separating, so there's a square image there. Now this is on 3 zoom, so I could actually reset this on 4, but then you see pixels more. Okay, there it is again. It's switched on again right there. This time it looks a bit different. Right there. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause this and put on 4 zoom, but then if I've got 4 zoom, it's going to be very hard to find that object on the right. You have to really pan out in and out a lot. So that's sufficient size, otherwise you'll see more of the pixels in 4 zoom. So I go out. Okay, one part has come off now. There it is. That part is definitely coming off. The other theory is maybe this isn't the space shuttle. Maybe it's something else that was launched to make it look like it exploded. Obviously, they said it was fished out from the bottom of the sea and has been buried with the astronauts, which is very strange, in a disused nuclear missile silo in Cape Canaveral. That story sounds very strange to me. Maybe it was used in a secret mission. Maybe they live on Mars at the moment. I do not know. And maybe that happened to the first space shuttle as well, Challenger. Actually, that was the story of the space shuttle Challenger. They found the capsule with the astronauts. They were dead. They weren't put in individual coffins. They were buried together with the space shuttle, which meant there was probably some radiation. Still, it just sounds like a strange story, okay? So maybe they are on Mars. Here we go. We have some parts coming off now. And also, when I zoomed in on it first time, it looked like a huge orb. It didn't look like a space shuttle. That's one thing I was puzzled about. So I got 2 or 3 bits coming off there. Okay. Now, when they come off, they stay very bright white. You can see it there. Very bright white. In fact, it actually enlarges now to be the same size as a space shuttle. Let's go back in again. That's what orbs do, they enlarge. And the image now becomes square, the same size as a space shuttle originally. So that doesn't add up as well. Okay, they're just the birds there. Let's go back. And let's just make a backward motion for a second. Look how small it is in there. Okay, look how small it is there. So why would it flare up to be exactly the same size unless it's catching extreme fire and actually exploding as we watch? Okay, let's go back. Here's the other one again. There we go again. This other one just keeps hanging around. It's coming in again and switching on. Okay. A lot of things are unusual, if you agree. Let's go further. Okay. It disappears. It switches like... Okay, it's off there. Let's have a good look. It is not there anymore. So there's no way it can just switch on again. Look at that. It's probably all the flammable components burned off. But all of a sudden now, I think it'll flare up again. Now we've got some major event happening. Okay, sorry, I pressed the wrong one. So let's just try to zoom in and have a good look at what's happening here. It's very bright. So we got a very bright event, and the orb's not there, so it's switched off again. So we got one more type of combustion. Let's go further. Okay, the second object is switched on again. that doesn't make sense again. So unless, obviously it's traveling at a fast speed, it's obviously caught combustion again. There it is again. So now it's there. It seems to follow the pattern of the orb, correct? It switches on and off. It's off now, then it's on again. It's come back on, and there's definite trail. And around there, I think I see that other orb that follows it. Let's see if it comes on again. Okay, we got a very definite trail. Obviously, there's major combustion happening. This thing is burning up, but it's still in one piece. It hasn't split up yet. Nothing more important. It's very bright. A lot of smoke. And obviously, we've got trouble now. Let's have a closer look at the zoom. So now it's starting to change shape again. Even that's unusual. It changed shape a few times. Actually, that little part came off. It is correct. Okay, two other parts are coming off now. Here we go there. Those little two bits, just you see them faintly. And they have their own smoke trail. Okay, this event here is important. One is off there. And obviously now we zoom in, so obviously the cameraman is also zooming at the same time. Obviously the images are very blurred by now. But still, it's a great capture. And okay, that was unusual. We had 4 and now there's just 2. And the plant isn't blurred. Okay, so let's see what's happening behind here again. We've got now 3 definite ones. One other one switches on there again. Let's go and enlarge this. There it is there. You see it right there in the center of the screen. Then you've got 3 there. So they have separated. Now let's see what happens. That one is just faint. So obviously it's gone now. And there are 2 definite ones there. So I don't know what happens to the third one. It's pretty large to begin with. And now they have a strange pattern. They're more rounded and they look like 2 orbs separating. So how can it... Okay, how does a Space Shuttle Columbia split up into 2 objects that are perfectly the same size? That's a good question. You would assume first the tiles come off, the wings come off, there's one major component. You haven't got the chance of that splitting to 2 components exactly the same size. Things don't add up. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, we got that component there. That's a definite component, unless it already burns up, and that's why it's not there in a few frames. One there and one there. It's getting more confusing the more you think about what's happening. Then we got, okay, there we go. So the one is still there. It's starting to sort of lose intensity of that light. So let's go back in. There it is there. So it's still there in front of it. As we go out, it's gone now. It could be behind it. Okay, it could be behind. And we had a little object just appear there and disappear again. And it's strange how we got 2 definite shapes, and they're all very square shaped. They're all, okay, now one's a bit smaller. It could be it's split in 2. It could be. Okay, let's watch. Well, now there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be the camera quality too. Okay. Now it's already too hard to do anything now. Oh, wait there. We got something here. We only got 1 major one now. We got 3 now. Okay, let's zoom in again. There it is there. There's 1. Now we've got something happening right in front. There's one little one in front of it. Oops. One little one in front of it right now. So we do the trick The zoom trick. There we go. We press escape. Now I see what happens to it. Now there's only one. Okay, this is important now. There's only one piece left, unless the others are burned off. And there's no other orb I see nearby. We keep following it, nothing special. There's just one left. The others could have burned off. It was just surprising they were the same shape to begin with, the same size I mean. Nothing happening, I don't see any other objects nearby. Again, it's a good view because the camera hasn't just zoomed in on the trees and blurred out the object. It seems to be very good capture, and he follows the trail, the filmer. The trail is very definite, but I don't see any other orbs hanging around. So he's going all the way following that trail, and he goes back, which is good. Nothing specially seen. And I don't see any falling to earth, so either they're fully burned up he seems to want to film the trail. I haven't seen anything, so in case we do see something it'll be great, but I haven't seen anything. Sometimes the orbs do like to hang around the trails, but obviously not here. Okay, let's pause it. Let's have a look at this one. We'll compare it now. Rare Space Shuttle Columbia explosion footage. So when we enlarge this, we see the same thing happening. Something seems like it falls off when it's already combusted, like now. And we got that, it's very strange straight line shape too. It could be part of the camera, but I don't think the camera will just produce that line shape. So something is coming off. Let's go back again. See how it goes gradually behind it. So that could be, obviously it's fallen off and it flies obviously at high speed. It's just, now what I've noticed up here is you do get this orb switching on again and switching off. And are they coming closer to look at the damage? There it is. Switched off now. Switched on. That component has come off. Obviously it is burning. Something there has come off, so it's starting to split up. There it is again. That orb switches on. There it is. And it'll switch off again. Very bright now. Very bright. Off completely. It's gone. That's impossible. There we go. So that's the problem I'm trying to explain. That should be impossible now. It was very definite and it's totally vanished. It's gone. Should be right in the middle of the screen now. There it is there. There it is there. Some more components have fallen off. A big explosion right there. So now it's probably fully combusted. Here we go. Let's watch this explosion. Something's happening very bad now. Let's go back and watch that explosion. There it is. Wow. You even see the rays come off from the heat or the explosive effect, and there's a sudden trail behind it. Let's go zoom in. Very explosive. Let's go back one step. This was a major event. Look at that. That was a huge explosion. Bang. Okay, let's see if we can catch the precise moment. If anything appears during the explosion that shouldn't be there. Okay. And that's the trail. So something major has happened there. The objects are still behind it. Some objects are coming off. One there, so it could be just floating off. At least could be part of the objects floating off. I don't want to jump to conclusions that are not substantiated. So we've got 2 or 3 or 4 components. That makes sense. Okay, let's go back again. the part that doesn't add up is the one further back that switches on very brightly, and that's the one here. So you can see it coming off it, and it could be just it's floating nearby and reignites, but it doesn't explain the sudden pulsation right there. So look at that. It doesn't explain why it would just pulsate that brightly again. Is it catching fire again? It's pulsating too much. It's like it flickers. Okay, that's a big explosion there. Huge. So there it is there again. That's a big explosion.